Hi, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I want to show you how to put together this cute little matchbox that holds a bath and body hand sanitizer and a lip balm. So if you live in a cold climate like I do, these are essential right now, and they make adorable gifts for someone special. So I'm going to show you how to put this little box together. Now, if you've made boxes before, they're pretty simple. I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and you could use the heavy or the thick cardstock for this if you'd like, for the bottom. So this is 4.5 by 4 3/4, and we're going to score it at 1 inch all the way around. And one more. Now I came up with this, I thought of this, and I usually get my ideas while I'm sleeping or trying to go to sleep. And I got this one, and then I have a strong tendency to try to get up and do it, so I actually was pretty restrained and didn't get up to try this out. So anyway, we're going to cut on the score lines here. Cut on this score line on the short end of the cardstock, and then we're just kind of cut out a little bit of a wedge. Just cut up to that next score line with your paper snips. And I love these paper snips because they are so accurate. The point is very sharp, and it just gets right up there. I've tried different brands, but these are actually, not just saying this because I'm a demonstrator, but they are my favorite. So just cut those out. And I should have done something before I did this, but it's not a big deal. I should have burnished my score lines. So I take my bone folder and sharpen those. So just fold those in. Oh, you got a little hanger on there. Make these nice and crisp. And whenever you're scoring, you want to burnish your score lines. It just gives your project a much, cleaner look. So now we are going to take some multi-purpose glue, and for 3D projects, you want to use a good adhesive like multi-purpose glue or tear and tape or Seal Plus. When I'm doing boxes, I like to use multi-purpose because it lets you move it around a little bit, and then I like to use clothespins to hold them. So it just holds it in place while it dries. Sometimes I've gone back to a project and it has moved out of place, and then by that time it's dry. So you just want to make sure you get the corners nice and square. So that I use clothespins. If you have little ones too, you could use those, like little craft ones. And we're going to put some here and here. And we're going to square these up. And put my little clothespins on. And we're going to set that aside while it dries. So take 3. And now we're going to make the outside part of our box. So we have a piece of cardstock that is 2 3/4 by 7 3/4. And we are going to score it at 1/2 inch. And I like to do the 1/2 inch on that side just because I have more cardstock to hold on to. And 1.5. And 4. And 5 1/8. There. Now we're going to burnish our score lines. All the way around the block. have the outside of our box. And all we have to do is get some adhesive on it. So, looks pretty good. Actually, well, it's kind of late, but I should have stopped and decorated or put my panels on first, but it doesn't really matter. You can do it either way. I'm just going to take my box, make sure it slides in there. And before I do that, I should have, I keep forgetting things today, I've got my 3/4 inch punch, and I'm going to punch a couple thumb holes in here. Just makes it a little easier. Try to center it from side to side and punch just a little bit. You don't need much. So just so you can have something to grab onto to open the box. So there's our box, and now we are going to decorate it. So I have got a piece of DSP from Trimming the Town, and I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'm going to cut 4 panels, and you can cut off a 2.5 inch strip, and we'll cut everything from there. I'm all for cutting as little as possible. So from there we're going to cut 2 3/4 inch strips. I'm going to use the marker on this side, 3/4. There's one. And if you wanted a little bit more, you can go to 7/8. And then we're going to cut off a strip that is, okay, this is 2.5, so we're going to do 2 5/8. So 2, there's a half, and there's 5/8. And you don't have to do 2. I just am doing 2 because I want to put one on the bottom, but you don't necessarily have to do one on the bottom, so whatever you want to do. And that is cut from a piece of cardstock that is 2.5 by 6.5 inch. So if you get all of these together, we can do 1, 2, if you can see that. Slide mine. I'll do this. Nope. So I have a ruler here. So we've got one strip that is 2.5 by 2.5. Let's see, 2 5/8, 2 5/8. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from a piece of cardstock that is 6 3/4 inches, you can cut all 4 strips. So it's 2.5 by 6 3/4. Now we're going to take our box and we're going to put some adhesive on the back of this. And like I said, I like using this. I think this is such pretty paper. It's so such a nice small pattern, which is why I like it. So we're going to put one there. My box is still not right. And one there. I'm going to put one on each side. And I can slide a little bit and kind of line them up side to side too. So there we have our top. And then we are going to make the, we're going to embellish it. So I'm going to use the, if you haven't seen this red velvet paper, it is to die for. It is absolutely gorgeous. And when you use it with the poinsettia petals, dies and embossing. I don't know if you can see that there, but it is gorgeous. It looks like a real poinsettia. And I'm trying to get my other holly leaf out of here. And if you use these dies, I'll just give you a little tip that will save you a little bit of grief. You may get your dies and you're gonna kind of twirl around and try to figure out where they go, lining them up, because they're all a little different. So they have to go in a specific way. So what I did was, when I found out what that way was, I put a little bit of Sharpie on the two ends that match, and you want to put it on the flat side so that when you're laying it on your cardstock, you know which it is. And I did that also for my poinsettia, my holly. So anyway, I did it for all the poinsettias. And if you have this set, the largest die does not have a insert for the embossing. So this one from the second to the largest die actually will work, and I matched that up too. So anyway, just a little tip if you have this set. Now back to the project here. I am going to take this and use my bone folder and just give it a bit of a curve on both of these. There is a one smaller die too. That's a poinsettia, and I suppose you could use that. When you're using the 3 layers, it actually is gorgeous. And we're going to try to stagger these a little bit, like that. And I'm going to use a glue dot to stick them together. And make sure I got those lined up pretty well. I'm going to move it, I think, a little bit. Let's see. There, that looks good. And then I'm going to grab my beaded pearls for the center. Now, if you haven't seen these, they're absolutely gorgeous. And they go beautifully on this here. So I'm going to use a glue dot for that. And put that right in the middle. Then I'm going to curve my holly leaves a little bit too. I'm never sure which end is supposed to be the outside end, or which is attached to the plant. There's one that's more pointy than the other, so if you guys let me know. And we're going to put these down on here like this. And I'm going to put my poinsettia off to the side a little bit. And we'll go like that. Another glue dot, or you could use multi-purpose glue too. There. And then I have a piece of cardstock, just a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. That is, I think, it's about 1 inch by 1 inch by 2.5. And actually I just cut it off the end there. And so we're going to take that, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on it, and get my real red. And I'm using a sentiment from Wrapped in Christmas. You've got this set. It's got a lot of nice sentiments, especially for putting on gifts for the holidays. So I'm using this one, A Little Something for You. And we're going to ink this up, and we're going to stamp it right here. Good. And then I'm going to take my triple what is this called again? Banner Banners Pick-a-Punch. I'm going to slide this in here. And you want it just a little under an inch. It slides a little bit better. So we're going to punch that. And flip it around the other way. And just be careful not to touch your ink. Your darker, richer colors take a little bit longer to dry. They don't take that long, but I've messed up a few projects that way. So we got that stamped. And we're going to put this right here. And maybe we'll jazz it up with a little bit of ribbon too. Let's see. I'm just going to cut off a piece of ribbon. This is the Real Ridge sheer ribbon that's in the holiday catalog. And I'm just going to make sure my ends match. And we'll put that underneath. Just gives it a little bit of a, makes it a little bit more special. And let's see if I find my Stampin' Seal. And I'm just going to run a strip along the back. Center that on my ribbon. There. And I think we'll just put some more on the back here. Sometimes you have to get it started. And we'll put that right there. There in the box. And maybe a couple of rhinestones. I've got the holiday rhinestones. Holiday rhinestones. Basic jewels. We'll take a couple of these red ones. I like a lot of bling. Anybody out there with me? So I'm going to take one red one, put it here, and then two smaller red ones over there. Oh, it didn't come off. I like to use my paper piercing tool. This is retired now, they don't have them, but your take your pick tool works really well for that too. Use the pointy end. And some people prefer scissors, and some people prefer to just use their fingers, but I find it easier for me to actually place them where I want them with my paper piercing tool. So anyway, that is today's project. I hope you enjoyed this. This is the more masculine version. I just finished a craft fair, and look, I can go either way with this, so it doesn't really matter. Excuse me. And I had sold some hand sanitizers there, and one of the ladies was thankful that I had something for males, and I just never thought of it. They've always been geared more towards women. But here we have, I used the peaceful bows for this one. I should show that to you. So I used Peaceful Bows, and this was in last year's holiday catalog, and so now it's in the annual catalog this year. And then there are dies that go with it, the Peaceful Bow dies, and I just think they're gorgeous. Anyway, so that's what I used on this one. So I'll be posting both of these on my blog, cottagelandStamper.blogspot.com. And thank you for stopping in. If you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear from you. Take care, and God bless.